Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hello out there from the Renewal Center. This Tea Time Tuesday tonight, our special edition. And we are so excited that you are joining us. Welcome to everybody. We hope that you're having a refreshing and relaxing evening. Hope your day was good today. Patrick, how was your day today?
Actually went well today. Had a lot on the schedule, a lot of meetings, but nonetheless productive. So good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It was good to see our Tea Time community out there. We hope that you would go ahead, like and share. And if you haven't subscribed to the Renewal Center's YouTube channel, go ahead, do it today, and then go ahead and share. Hello, Pamela. It's good to see you. Good evening to you too. And everybody else that's on board tonight, go ahead, invite your friends. This is Tea Time Tuesday special edition. This is what we do on the fourth Tuesday of every month. We do it at 7 p.m. So we definitely want to get everybody that's after work hours. Hello, Sharon. Good to see you too. And yeah, after work. This is a great time. And so we look forward to this time tonight. We're going to be covering the 4 R's of resilient wellness. And Patrick is going to be giving us some great renewal practices today. So excited. We're closing out the month of August. Of course, you know that the month of August brings us our awareness of National Wellness Month. And definitely, this is the time that we take to stop and recognize where we are. We want to implement self-care, strategy, self-care, self-compassion, and all of these different strategies to help us be at our very best. And I mean, it's in so many areas of our lives. So we're going to continue that until the last day of this month. Hopefully it spills over into September. But we're so excited again. We hope you have your tea time journals, watch your tea, again and invite your friends. And so while we're getting ready to talk about our tea of the week, go ahead and put in the chat what you have. Hello, how you doing, Nicole? It's good to see you too tonight. Go ahead and put in the chat. What are you having? What kind of Patrick? What kind of tea you have out over there?
Actually, it's just lavender and chamomile tea. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so I hope that you stay awake during this time.
Yeah, I need this.
you got that relaxing tea. Hello,
I sure do. I sure do.
That's good. Hi, Dr. Brown. How are you, Dad? Good to see you tonight. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna sit back and relax with Patrick since he has his chamomile and lavender tea tonight, and let's get in a position tonight. Before we go into our locating yourself, let's go ahead and find out what our tea of the week is. A very invigorating tea. Very interesting. It's called peach tea latte. I know for those of you like coffee, that frothy type of drink, this is made hot or cold, but actually it's just Ceylon black tea, and you're doing your herbal peach tea with it infused in there. And if you heat it up, you can put your frothy whipping cream or whatever type of cream you want to put in there, and sweeten of your choice. You can put it over ice or you can drink it hot. And so good. Renita's having lemon water. It's good to hear all of these. Oh, hydrating tonight. Thanks, Darlene. You're drinking water too. Moringa tea. Oh, this is some good stuff. That sounds good. Okay, you're drinking water too, Pamela. All right. Green juice. Oh, hey, y'all are doing some healthy choices tonight. This is great. And so as we stay in this vibe, we're just going to continue to remember our tea of the week. Let us know if you enjoy peach tea latte. I'm gonna definitely try that. Patrick, what do you think? You gonna try that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to try that for sure. I don't know how to make it. I'll figure out where to buy that. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's just another tea for us to try here at the Renewal Center, and maybe we'll circle back and tell you how we like it. Hey, everybody, let's take a moment and relax for the evening and just kind of get into a mode of locating ourselves like we always do. Take a moment and just release the cares of the day so that we can be refreshed and ready for a wonderful time and a relaxing evening for our Tea Time Tuesday renewal practice. So we're going to watch a video and we're just going to take some deep breaths and relax. Thank you, Patrick, for showing that video. That was really relaxing. Hello, Sister Thompson. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us from Sumter, South Carolina. All right. Good to see you. Well, let's go ahead right on in. Patrick is going to take us into our Tea Time Tuesday tonight. Patrick, you need to unmute.
Well, my goodness, that never happens.
You were excited.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yes. Excuse me, my little allergies. So if I sneeze, I apologize, y'all. Hopefully everybody's prepared. You have your journal and you have your tea, your water. Um, as we're wrapping up, as Carmela said, a couple of weeks ago, uh, she took us through a uh, practice on the recipe of wellness. And so I wanted to start with that, but also give you like a foundation of a recipe, and then we're going to build out our wellness approach as we close out this month of August, especially for those who go back to school, children are going back to school, grandchildren. A lot of jobs are doing trainings. There's a shifting of the season. And so I thought it'd be good for us, Carmela, to just emphasize the importance of writing it out. And so I think
Yeah.
it's good for us to do a follow up to what the renewal practice that you gave us from a couple of weeks ago. So if everybody can just please hashtag recipe, put recipe in the comments. Recipe. We're talking about the recipe of wellness. And I want to start out again by asking the question, when you think about a recipe, what comes to your mind? And I want to go through that one more time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our renewal practice for this evening. And it's about the R's of wellness. Hello, good evening again. Got folks to type out recipe. Let me know that you're ready. Let me know that you're ready. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead and get started. And again, welcome everyone. Please let's get the likes up if you don't mind, because as we get the likes up, more people will engage and more people will see and subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't, welcome again. All right. I think folks are ready, Carmel. I think they're ready.
Okay.
All right. So I want to start out again with an understanding of a recipe. Now, again, when you have a wellness recipe, and I want to go back to what Carmela shared with us, is when you are having a recipe, you want to have a particular outcome. Now, my dad, he makes carrot cake. There's a specific recipe, but it's also in your commitment to the recipe. I'm
Mhm.
sure he'll tell you put a hat on and an apron, and
Yeah.
but there's a certain way you approach making a recipe. And
Yeah.
so one of the key things that Carmela brought us through was that recipes are easily achieved desired outcomes, or they're engaging to make, they're light to eat and enjoy. You have a guide, you got instructions, et cetera, et cetera. And so I want you to think about the recipe for you being well. And I want you to think about an area of wellness that you would like to focus on as it relates. Hey, Charlisa, hello. Monique, hello. I see you on there as well. Good evening. Good evening.
Good Good
Good to have you
evening.
evening. And what I'd like to do is I'd like us to take our time and think about an area in your wellness recipe that you want to focus on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 4 areas that we're going to emphasize that I call the 4 R's of resilient wellness. Before I get started, though, Carmela, any thoughts on just from the last time? What have you been thinking about relating to recipes since you kicked this off a few weeks ago? Just give us your insight, and then I want to get started.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to, well, I got my recipe card here and some
Okay.
things written down on my recipe card. And I think something that you mentioned the last time when we wanted to circle back and look at the things that we put on our card for accountability. And so I'm just really excited about it because I think we all need a guide and have something in front of us that's going to promote wellness. But then we ask the question, how are we going to do it? So then now we got a little guide that's encouraging to help us stick to the plan. And so I'm excited about the things that I wrote down. I have 3 areas on my cards that I'm working on. And
Good.
so I'm excited about what you're going to be talking about tonight.
Good. Good. Now I know that again, if you don't have a card, feel free to grab yourself a card, an index card, or you can just use your journal. And I want you to think about when you think about a recipe, you have measurements. You have
Mhm.
cup of this, a half of this, a quarter of this. And when you're doing that, I want you to think about those in hours and days and minutes. So when you're making up your recipe, your measurements will be like month,
Mhm.
quarter, week, day, hours, things like that, Carmel. That's what we're going
Mhm.
to use as our recipe.
I like
And
it.
so what will happen is I want you, what I'm using is I'm actually going to use my physical planner that I have, and that's going to help me stay grounded because I still use a written planner. Why, you ask? Well, I like the tactile feel of writing
Yeah.
out my notes still. Even though I have
Yeah.
a digital one, there's something about when I am able
Mhm.
to actually write out what I'm working through, and it just causes me to be a little bit more focused on what I want to get done. So if you're ready, I'm glad everybody has recipe, you're prepared. And then I'm going to bring up what I call the 4 R's of resilient wellness. And we're going to start with one area, and then we're going to move through all the 4 R's. And by the time we're finished, we would have built out our recipe.
All right.
Right. So let me get myself situated. And the first thing I want you to look at is recognize. So what you're going to do is, if you have a quadrant or you want to write it out a little structured, write out the word recognize. All right. And under recognize, this is what I want you to think about. Recognition is about awareness of your thoughts and your emotions. It is the first prescription for resilient wellness. Recognize. So, wellness starts with noticing what's happening inside of you. So, the
Mhm.
first recipe is, what are you recognizing you need to work on? What do you recognize you need to work on? That means awareness. So if you can write down under recognize, what is a new area or an area that you want to sharpen, refine, an area that you now recognize. And the reason why we do an awareness exercise is to help us locate what kind of thoughts or perspectives that we have, because they dictate our health. They can dictate our
Yeah.
health and our
Yes.
total well-being. And so once we have a level of recognition or awareness, that's going to help you with your stress load and will help you with your harmony. So the emphasis behind this is recognition is the first prescription for resilient wellness. It's a prescription.
Mhm.
So when I do that, we're taking a prescription of recognition today to help us with what we need to engage in order for us to build out this whole recipe of resilient wellness. And it could be something specifically that you recognize in your personal life, your thoughts, you're recognizing something in your work, in your family. But again, it's about you, an area that you want to specifically want to emphasize. And let me give you a little help here, just a prompt. Carmela talked about areas of wellness and well-being. Could be environmental, your physical space, your spiritual purpose. All these are areas that you can really draw from when you think about what you're recognizing. So maybe choose one or two. If you want to choose a combination, feel free. And think about, what am I actually recognizing that I want to work on? Recognizing. All right. So now that you've done it, everybody, please feel free, if you like to share, what is your area of recognition? First, R is recognize. So what are you going to recognize as it relates to your wellness? We're closing out a month. We're going into a new month. And so these 4 areas, you're only going to have 4 in these 4 R's. And I want you to consider, what is it specifically that you're going to do or you're recognizing as an area of wellness. Camilla, if you feel like sharing, please feel free. I want to hear from all of our tea timers. I know some of you are probably writing and thinking through it right now, but we would love to hear from you, your thoughts as
Yeah.
relates to what did you recognize as far as awareness of your thoughts, your perspectives in these areas, specifically regarding your wellness or your well-being. All right. Camilla, any thoughts from you?
Well, I like that first step because that first step helps us to identify where we are.
Mhm.
Especially about being self-aware. I mean, really being proactive about it. Okay, what do I need to do? Recognize it and being real about it and sitting with it, and then enthusiastically, it's motivational for us to be able to take action for our well-being. And so we just sit with it and take a step to recognize, okay, what do I need to do? And then I think that leads to all the rest of the things that you're going to be talking about.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else out
Mhm.
there? Please feel free to put in the comments your area of resilient wellness in the recognized space, recognition space. All right. Because once you're aware, that helps you move forward with what's going on in your thoughts, what's going on in your emotions as it relates to all these different areas of wellness and well-being. We're talking about resilient wellness. So it could be I'm recognizing something I need to do in purpose. I need to recognize. So I'll share my area. Honestly, was about recreational.
Yeah, you
It was
mentioned that.
recreational, and I think just as I'm shifting from being a full time doctoral
Mhm.
student, how busy my schedule was specifically within the kind of work that I was doing. So now that I'm on the other end of that, I'm like, okay, let me get back to recreation. Let me get back to some things to create this sense of harmony and well-roundedness. So I'm
Mhm.
recognizing the need for that because I was like, man, I just moved 5 years ago from one state to another state, then immediately went into school, immediately studying 3.5, 4 years, constantly writing, constantly traveling, constantly analytical, constantly synthesis, thinking through things. It's like, wow, okay, I need to get back into the things that were full of laughter and engagement and energy to bring that type of harmony to my life. So I just thought about recognition. I put down recreational and financial. So if you're comfortable, please share with us what is your area of recognize in the area of resilient wellness this evening. All right, let's go to the next one. Our next R. I think folks are probably writing out, Carmelo, so I don't see any comments just yet. We'll get to them when they come in.
The
All right,
wheels
let's
are
go.
spinning.
Yes. Next one is reframe. Reframe. The area of reframe is about shifting perspective for strength. So we got to reframe. And when we
Mm.
reframe what we recognize, that is the medicine that turns strength into strength. So we're not only going to
Yeah.
recognize the area of resilient wellness, we're going to reframe an area. How do I reframe it?
Mm. Wow. Wow.
Reframing, shifting perspective for strength. The whole purpose of reframing is to help us notice what we haven't seen before. When we reframe the perspective, then what it does is it lowers our anxiety. It helps us reinterpret negative interpretations. Just like
Mhm.
when you put a new frame around a painting, if you change the frame, you'll see things in specifics within the picture that you have not seen before. The picture doesn't change at all, actually. There are just aspects of it, specifics that you now see because you reframed it. So when you reframe what you recognize, you'll see things that you've never seen before. And imagine
Mhm.
when you reframe things about yourself,
Yeah, that's
you'll
right.
start seeing, you'll ask different questions,
Mhm.
more empowering questions. You'll improve your wellness, all because you've been willing to reframe. It's the same thing with having new
Mm.
frames when you get a new pair of glasses. You start noticing, oh, those are nice glasses. You're reframing your perspective. I read a book some time ago, Carmela, called Smacked on the Side of the Head. It's the name of the book.
Okay.
And that book talked about how what happens like when you buy a new car, and before you didn't notice that car, but when you get the car, it seems like everybody else has the same car.
Mhm.
It's about the power of reframing. And so how important it is when we reframe something, we notice aspects that we haven't previously noticed. So it's important that we're looking at what we're reframing. And so any thoughts on your end regarding just the whole reframing renewal practice?
I like that. First of all, I like the fact that you're seeing through a new lens, and instead of seeing the negative side of things, especially about wellness. Okay, there's possibilities here. I like
Mm.
when you said perspective is a medicine. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's the medicine that we take. It's a way that we can move into a more objective way, and then we have options. Um, we're able to look at. I have options. I'm not
Mm.
limited. I do have options to create a better me, create a better place of wellness for myself, and looking
Yeah.
at myself differently, having a different lens to see things that it's possible for me to change. I
Mm-hmm.
like that because we can become linear. I mean, we can just become one track and
Yeah.
and that's it. It is what it is, but we can come out of it is what it is and start looking at, oh, wait a minute, there's another way to do something to get to my goals. There's another
Mm.
way,
Mm. That's
a
good.
better way.
Yes, yes. Darlene is saying empowerment. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you for
absolutely.
sharing. So I know that folks are probably writing. They're still on and we're with us. But I'd like to hear from you. If you have any thoughts, what are you working on specifically in the area of recognize? Recognize. I'd like to get your comments. And then think about the reframing part. Reframing part. What are you going to reframe? Or how are you going to reframe? Reframe, excuse me. Now, when I think about recreational and financial, which is another area of recognition, I'm thinking about how am I reframing things in
Yeah.
order for me to help me, it helps me activate about
Hmm.
perspective as well. So we
Yeah.
got some comments that are coming in. Okay, I'm so glad to know that folks are empowering themselves today. All right, Carmen, you want to read a few of these?
Yes, Darlene. She's saying shifting from a negative to a positive mindset. I like
Mm-hmm.
that. That's good. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
Darlene. Dr. Brown, he's coming from a professional angle, recognizing the need to pass the baton in this season to step back, letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. That is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon, she's saying thought, clarifying, defining my approach in the management of the purpose within a current vision that I'm working on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And then Renita, she's saying recognize, finding balance in my life with my present goals and obligations, which is so
All right.
important.
Okay. That's good. So
Hmm.
we've got the first area, the first R,
Hmm.
recognize. Everything starts with what we recognize.
Yeah.
Recognize puts you in the seat, it moves you into ownership, and wellness starts with recognizing what's happening within. So I want to first of all just affirm everyone for recognition.
Yeah.
And because once you recognize, your wellness journey either starts or it increases or it improves because you recognize, oh,
Hmm.
I realize that. I recognize that sometimes we don't spend enough time recognizing what we need to do internally in these wellness areas. And so that's the whole purpose of our tea time. I'm going to pause, I'm going to reset, I'm going to build resilience, but I have to pause and I got to recognize, look at myself. And I think not just the mirror of self, but what's happening in our community because our wellness is interrelated, it's interconnected to others. And so
Yeah.
if I'm not well, Carmela, it's going to affect you. It's going to impact how I connect with you and others because we're uniquely connected in different ways. So we
Yeah.
started out with recognition, everybody recognize. The second one is shift perspective. Let me bring that one more time. Shift perspective for strength. Reframing is the medicine that turns stress into strength. So we're going to recognize, we're going to reframe, and I want you to think about how are you going to reframe? How are you going to shift your perspective? For example, for example, as we think about, I'll just choose something that Renita put out here about like finding balance, right? So that's a recognition. Then that means after recognition, then Renita would move into reframe. Now, how am I going to reframe balance? How am I going to reframe goals and obligations? So now her second step would be to think about the reframing or the shift of perspective on finding balance in your life and present goals and obligations. So
Hmm.
that's something. if I were to go to Sharon and she's saying, okay, I'm going to recognize my thought, but how am I going to, I'm going to clarify my approach. Reframe your approach and think about how can I reframe? In other words, I've already been doing something. What am
Mm-hmm.
I going to do differently now?
Right.
How is my perspective on this recognition area different than what I've done previously?
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of reframing.
Yeah, it is.
So we recognize and then we reframe. So I just wanted to kind of use those two as an example. Let's go into number 3. And if you're uncomfortable, again, tea timers, feel free to put your reframing in there, or just as you're writing this out, how do you plan on reframing? What does reframing look like in the shift of your perspective? Number 3 in our recipe. All right. You're building out a recipe. Now, can I just say this, Carmela? Let me also step back. When we think about the reframing part, it might be something like, I'm going to reframe my balance or harmony by spending 30 minutes a day walking,
Mm-hmm.
journaling, reading, or reframing something that will cause me to get to this harmony like Renita's talking about, or what Sharon's talking about in relationship to her thought process about approach to management. It might mean saying, maybe I need to talk with someone, have a brief conversation about my current approach
Mm-hmm.
and get some feedback on that approach. Or it could be being
Yeah.
introduced to a different style or a different competency, et cetera, et cetera. So those are things that I think when we think about reframing and we're building our recipe, because this is about a recipe. So let's put some measurables behind all of our recipes. Any thoughts on that as we move on to the, we've talked through recognize and reframe. Would you like to share any thoughts on that? Any thoughts that you have on that before I go on the next one?
I was just thinking when you were talking, what reframing is adjusting, making adjustments, restructuring, all of that. I mean, in the practical things. And I know you're going to get down to the nitty gritty of details and how we, our measurements, things like that. But recognizing the fact that we do need to change the way we look at something. So that might mean we might need to make some adjustments of what doesn't work anymore, or,
Mm-hmm.
or be open to making some changes of what could, what can I shift in this season of my life or this place of, we look at all of the different parts of our lives that we want to update with wellness, our vision, our environmental, physical, whatever it is. Well, maybe something wasn't working before, and man, this is a new method I could, move into in this season of my life, and incorporate something new that's going to help. Because there is that saying, what is it? When you do something over and over again and you expect a different result,
Mm-hmm.
we know what that is, right?
Yeah, they call it insanity, right?
So we do want to be able to reframe things so that, maybe something that wasn't working before, we're open to change it, to shift into what can work in this season for
Mm.
us.
I appreciate you saying what doesn't work anymore. Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
need to think about what doesn't work anymore. And then you
Right.
use the word shift, and I began to think about driving stick shifts. I don't know if cars do a lot of stick shifts anymore, but we both, of course, we drove stick shifts growing up.
We
And
sure
one of the
did.
ways, yeah, one of the ways, the old Toyota, one of the ways that you get unstuck is that you got to shift to get
Right.
unstuck.
Right.
And you got to have a clutch, and you got to be able to know when the clutch, so you can shift from one particular gear to the next gear. And so
That's
there
good.
are times when, and driving that requires some work.
Yeah.
You're not just sitting there automatic, just chilling. You gotta move. You gotta slow down.
That's good
And keep,
effort. Yeah.
yeah. And I like the fact that you mentioned, what can I shift? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to restructure? And what doesn't work anymore? Those are very potent questions, folks, if we're going to have a recipe for resilient wellness in the area of reframing.
Can I throw in something?
Go ahead, please.
Just something really practical. I remember when I was really trying to focus on the wellness piece of physical, and I was trying to make sure that I was drinking enough water. I'm just using this as an example. And I remember that I had this really gigantic jar, and it broke it down by hours for me. And I tried so hard to stick to that. And for some reason, it just wasn't working for me. But then I found a new method, another method that, because eventually what I did is I didn't hydrate like I was supposed to. I just kind of put it aside. Then the practical thing, so I kind of lost my momentum on that, and so I want to be better in that area. So I incorporated something else that worked better for me to be able to stay on task with being physically fit with my water intake. And I had to shift to another method, and it works now for me. But I had to find out what wasn't working anymore, and what doesn't work anymore. Well, it doesn't work. I was open to try something new, and now it works. Now I see the benefit of it.
Mm-hmm. And you reframed it, you shifted, you adjusted, you restructured.
Yeah.
Ms. Thompson says something here I want to bring up here. She says friction point when shifting. So that friction creates something different because there's a connecting that's taking place. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
good.
folks. So, folks, what are you reframing? Talk to us, Tea Timers. How are you reframing? What adjustments are you going to make regarding the area that you're reframing? Let's go on to the next one. All right. Number 3 would be renew. Now, y'all know since we are the Renewal Center, what do you need to rest from?
That's good.
What do you need to rest from?
Oh,
yeah. And I know somebody like, what? You talk about resilience. You're supposed to be doing something. Sometimes you need to just rest, reflect, and then recreate.
Right.
Wellness is renewed when resilience rests. What do you need to rest from? Rest your mind.
Right.
I know in Change Matters, in my book, I have a section on meaningful inactivity. Sometimes inactivity is meaningful.
Right. Right.
So perhaps when we think about renew, that means integrating habits of rest and reflection. Something as simple as after you've had a very potent meeting, something that was very challenging or just intense, not necessarily negative, just a lot going on, compounded or compacted. It's important that we integrate a habit of resting and reflection. How would I approach that differently? What can I do to encourage myself? Because living in peace is a really a wellness strategy. Knowing how to bring joy to the work that you do is a wellness strategy.
Right. That's right.
And so we have to be very deliberate and intentional about the habit of resting and reflection and recreation. So I had to throw in renew in there because that's the foundation of what we do. But also I want to encourage people to practice rest and restoration as part of your recipe. I'm not talking about the time that you go to bed and wake up. That's different because you should be on some type of cycle when it comes to that. But resting could also be something that you do midday, the way that you handle your schedule, perhaps boundaries that you set so people don't just throw things on your calendar because they're constantly urgent. Doesn't mean you have to be urgent either. So that's fine. Somebody said, well, can you take a call right now? No. Right now, I don't have that. Right now, it's not the best time. Learning to say no without any explanations. Little things that will help you with practicing rest. So what thoughts do you have out there, Tea Timers? I think everybody's really thinking through, Mel. I think they're writing. But want to hear any thoughts you have on the renewal part. Of course, that's something we talk about all the time. But how important it is for us to practice rest and making sure that reflection's a part of that also. Like right now, we're resting. We're talking, but we're actually still resting and reflecting as a restorative practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the fact that you're ending with resting because now it's like you're resting in the decision that you just made.
Mm-hmm.
You're resting in the plan that you just made, because we reframed it, we responded on, being intentional about, okay, we're intentional, we brought intentionality in it.
Yeah.
This is the new place I'm going to be in. This is the new direction I'm going in. This is some new things I'm incorporating. So now I'm going to sit back and I'm going to rest in it and trust, right? Uh, Trust that this is the place that I need to be in the decisions I'm making, for well-being and wellness in this season. I like this. I think this is a great model, because once the renew part is kind of seals everything.
Yes. Seal the recipe, brings it together.
Yeah, I believe
Let's
that.
get some more of these comments coming in, Carmela. Let's see here.
Okay, Nita, she said, as part of my recipe for balance, I am getting better at saying no. As I am still learning from mom, I can't do everything. Nita, I agree.
Absolutely.
And that was mom saying, wasn't it? You can't do everything.
Yeah, Mom said, I ain't got the foggiest idea. You
That's
can't
right.
do it.
She say that quick too, wasn't she?
The
That's
foggiest
right.
idea. Yes, Lord.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
Wrong with that.
I know
That's
right.
good.
I needed that. So here's another one.
Oh, goodness. Yes. And Hope Matters, she's saying new ideas and strategies can be generated when we rest. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. Yes. So I want to encourage everyone, find a place of rest. And I'm not talking about just the sleep part, but somewhere where you can pull away just to reset yourself. As a way of being very deliberate about integrating habits. You got to integrate habits of reflection.
Yeah.
Even if it's 5 minutes to say, I got to debrief from this meeting and really think about what just took place so I can refresh who I am and how I'm going to approach the next season of whatever I'm reframing. All right, let's move on to the last point here in this recipe building. And the last one, Carmela, is respond. Respond is intentionality. Reaction shows where we are. So we want to choose response over reaction. That's the rhythm. When we work on responding rather than reacting. So I want everybody to write down, move from reaction to intentional response.
Oh, I like that.
Move from reaction to intentional response. I'm writing it down too, again, just to reinforce what's going on in my headspace. So, again, it's important that we are intentional, that we move from reaction to intentional response. Sharon says, yes, learning even more that rest is essential. Darlene says, we're able to take deeper breaths in and out when we rest, which releases anxiety and cortisol. Absolutely. Our levels. Yes. It's important that we build in these resting moments in our mindsets. If you find yourself just constantly going, then I want you to put it in your recipe. All right. Because if it's supposed to have sugar in it and you don't, life is not going to taste good. And then I know what has happened when I have not appropriately had the right reflection or rest. My words may be negative. My attitude may be. I may react in a way like, okay, what happened? Well, you didn't spend any time in the reflection. You weren't intentional. So you reacted instead of responding. And so now when I react, then what ends up happening? You can harm people, hurt people. You can hinder growth. You can disconnect things because reaction is there. So it's important that we move from reaction to intentional response. Everybody make sure that's part of this is the final renewal practice in this whole resilient wellness approach. Again, this comes from when Carmela introduced to us this whole focus on recipe. So that may mean you may have to choose a day that says, this is my day of rest or my day of reflection. And when you rest doesn't say just because you got free time doesn't mean that you have that needs to be busy with something else.
That's good. That's right.
I want to say that too. You just got to find something to do. Just sit down somewhere, okay? So rest, that's important that we work on the respond part. Responding, which is intentional action and growth. So 4 areas that we talked about in the recipe today. Come on, you want to read this one?
Yeah, Charlisa, she's saying rest brings forth reassurance, seals decision making, and gives peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Charlisa. This is good.
Mm-hmm. So responding. How are we going to be intentional about moving from reaction to intentional response? So this is about what's the word I want to use? It's another R. I'm into this alliterative mode, Carmela. So I'm going to write down the word routine.
Okay.
What's another word? R word. Rudiments, rudimentary, right? Routines.
Okay.
So we got to build routines that support whole person wellness. Like if you're sitting at a desk all day, are you stretching? If you're a person that constantly goes out to lunch, when's the last time you packed your lunch? Because if you're doing $7-8 a day of lunch, now you done spent $40-50 on lunch per week times 4. That's $200 a month just in eating. And then the coffee on the way to work, $3, $4, $5. If you do that twice a week, now you got $10. Now that's $10 a week times 4. So now you done spent $240 without a routine. And you're like, I need some money. I need some resources.
You are right on that alley
without a routine. Just like that. I mean, seriously, just like that. It's, I like that. You know, you find yourself, I got to go run. $20, $30.
I like what you just said, Patrick. It's not really the money aspect of it, but my mind went directly to my things on my recipe was physical, and that's eating intentionally the way that I need to. So I had to restructure and look at, I have to prep intentionally. So if I'm going to stick to this, well-being of how am I going to eat right? Okay, so now I'm going to have to prep my food the way that I need to. So I like that. So I had to restructure what I was doing. And so I like what you just said. That's right, Juanita.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I might just do that, put that up. Sit down somewhere. Just right. Yeah, absolutely. And we got to think about intentional action and growth. And I want to encourage everyone, the last part of this recipe, okay, is to build routines that support whole person wellness.
Yes, that's the key. Routine.
Okay. Movement. Yeah. Nutrition. Community.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that one positive conversation. I went and bought some thank you cards last week. I got to write out some thank yous. Thank you cards. Absolutely. I'm going to actually put some stamps on and mail them out.
Yes.
A few things. What? You can just say it. Well, there's a reason. There's a difference. There's something I'm working through and working on in order to strengthen a particular area. So I was intentional about responding to some things. So building routines that support whole person wellness, movement, being mindful of our work, our nutrition, things like that. We got a couple more comments coming in. Alicia, you want to share this one?
Saying recognize, okay, physical. She wants to reframe. I'm shifting my priorities and making self-wellness a higher priority. Renew. I don't insert myself into things that cause me to overextend myself. So that's wise.
Go ahead.
And she's also saying renew. My favorite word is no, learning to be still. And Hope Matters, she's saying routine, crested discipline, like making your bed every morning. Little begets big. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
This is practical
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, hopefully you got your 4 recipes. Now, what the follow up is, I'm going to build on what Carmela shared with us a couple of weeks ago, which was to have your card. So, if you have a an index card or something, can you show? Thank you. And what we want you to do is write out your recipe there. And your recipe, just to build on that, will be 4 areas just to help you. What are you recognizing? You're reframing in your recipe, you're renewing in your recipe, and you're responding in your recipe. Maybe put it someplace where you do your work. I'm going to put mine up, put it right here. I can look at it, think through it. I'm targeting actually my recreation, something like that, and also some things that I want to do in terms of my career, profession, things like that. But our goal tonight was in our tea time today. Of course, we pause, we reset, we build resilience, but also to give you a resilient wellness approach. So that's going to help you. I would say this will help sustain you in pressure-filled seasons. It'll help you in a pressured-filled season. So again, everyone, recognize, reframe, renew, respond. We'd love to hear what are your takeaways from this evening. What jumped out to you? What was new, possibly? What are you thinking about relating to this evening's Tea Time Tuesday renewal practices? All right. This has been good.
It has been. This has
Love
been
to hear from you. While you're doing that, I want to bring up a few announcements, starting with our Friday. Mm-hmm.
It's coming. Oh, go ahead, Pat. There was a pause there.
Sorry, I was about to sneeze. I had to catch myself.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and kick this off then. Every Friday at 6:30 a.m., we get up and we go to morning prayer. And the Renewal Center has this wonderful opportunity for us to come together. You do not have to turn on your screen, but come and get into the presence of the Lord together as we pray collectively. This has just been a wonderful time for us. It's been going on for several months now, and there is the Zoom link that you can join in. So go ahead and set your clocks and come and join us on Fridays at 6:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have New You Digital Discipleship. That's every single Sunday. And it starts at 10 a.m. And if you want to join us for worship, this is a great time. Invite your family to come and join us for biblical principles and just some powerful messages that come forth at our New You Digital Discipleship every Sunday. The first Sunday of every month, it is live on YouTube. And then you can join us the other Sundays on Zoom.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll take this next one. I want to also let you know that we're starting our Reforming Culture series next Wednesday. All right, actually, my dad's birthday, so happy birthday in advance, Dad. All right, starting next Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, our new series. We'll be running it from September to May. We'll be covering the Christology of spiritual formation. I want you to go to the Renewal Center's website or our Facebook page, our social media, to register. We're going to start next Wednesday at 7:30. Would love you to be a part of this time of teaching in the area of Christology of spiritual formation. Thank you so much.
And I think our last announcement for tonight is our Women at the Well Bible Study series. If you haven't joined us, it's every first Saturday of the month, 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. We get up and we join all of the other ladies for a time of fellowship and a deep dive into Cynthia Hale's book, Becoming the Woman Whose God is Enough. And so we kick off our Bible study at 10:30. And so fellowship is at 10, and then 10:30 our Bible study starts. So you can check us out on Facebook and find out how to register for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Carmela, for that. All of our announcements. Want to invite everyone, if this is your first time or current time connecting with the Renewal Center and the Tea Time Tuesday has been a strength to you, these are the ways that you can support and donate to the Renewal Center. You can go to our website. Also, you can text give our Renewal Center to 888-364-4483. And also, we have PayPal and Zelle, which is the Renewal Center 2020 at gmail.com. We also have CashApp, which is Cash Renewal Center, and then Venmo, which is at Renewal Center as well. Also, want to share with you that you can also give by mailing a check or money order to P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina 28026. So I want to thank you for just being a part of the Renewal Center. Thank you for considering us with your donation and your giving to support our vision and our mission of who we are and what we do here at the Renewal Center. So thank you so much for being a part of our community. Also, feel free, if you will, share with us today, what are your takeaways? We got a couple coming in. The importance of rest. Absolutely. Rest. Looks different for each person, but necessary.
Yes.
Absolutely. Any takeaways? We love to hear from you. And again, just want to leave you with the emphasis today. Our focus was, of course, the 4 R's of resilient wellness. Recognize, reframe, renew, and respond to build out your wellness recipe. Carmela, any last thoughts before we close out for today?
I really enjoyed tonight's Tea Time Tuesday, and I like this model. I think I'm really going to focus even more on reframing and start working even more on taking the time to break things down into chunks and look at a different perspective. This has been really, really good. And thank you to the Tea Time community. All the chimes in was really great tonight.
Oh, got a couple more coming in. Here we go.
Okay, Charlisa, great session. Tools shared. Takeaway, be more intentional in gathering the right ingredients and living a sweet life. That's good. And Pamela, excellent tea time. My takeaway is perspective is medicine. I have the ability to heal areas that need attention for growth and redirection. Thank you, Pamela. And Renita, rest is a wellness practice and should be intentional. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for those that are watching the replay. Please make sure that you get the likes up if you haven't liked it from YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also share this link. Somebody out there that says, you know what, there was a tea time on the area of resilient wellness. Share the link with them. We'd love to have others connect. The importance of prioritizing rest and myself. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Darlene. Thank you so much. So we're going to end this with just locating ourselves. And we want everybody to continue to pause, reset, and build resilience. And we'll see you next time. Have a very good rest of your evening.
Yes, good evening.